Hey guys, I'm Boot. We're in New Jersey. Today is day 332 of my weight loss journey. And guys, it is insane that it is so close to a year. I am so unbelievably psyched about it. I've had some changes of heart lately. I've had some changes in my life lately. And I've had some changes in my life in the last year that I cannot believe have happened because of my weight loss and because of the way I've been feeling about myself. Speaking of the way I've been feeling about myself, in my last video I talked about going to the dentist and getting some new teeth. I went to the dentist and I got my new teeth, put them in the first day. They fit great. They felt, a little weird, but it was okay. It felt great. Second day I went to put them in and the clip snapped on the side. So basically I called the dentist right away. They said bring them in. I brought them in. They said, we're going to look at these real quick, put them in. And they saw that they were a little bit off. And what happened was there was a defect in the metal that it was brittle because I guess air had been in the mold or something. And what happened is the side of the clasp weakened and snapped. And the rest of it had warped. So it didn't fit right. They said they were going to take an impression. They took an impression with the teeth in, which was a little weird. Having to sit there with the goo in my mouth and everything and the teeth on top of it that were, wonky. But when they got the new set back this past weekend, they weren't quite right. And so the dentist said to me, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have you go to the lab where they make them, and they can make adjustments and do all that right there, So that's what I'm going to be doing this week. I'm going to be going to the lab where they actually make these things. And they're going to go ahead and do the adjustments and fix it all right there, which is a beautiful thing. So I will finally, look the part that I feel. And I think that's the biggest thing of all of this, is that in this past year, I've done so much and so much has changed. And, while a lot of it's been for the better, there have been some things that have been detrimental. And, one of them is recently I've been on this plateau of my weight loss. And I've been up and down and up and down. And 350 something to 340 something to 343 to 341 to 348. And, it's been an up and down roller coaster for me, emotionally as well as my weight. And, in the long game of things, I still have time. I still have, the tools that have been afforded to me because of this opportunity in the weight loss surgery. My mental state about food has changed, and, so many things have changed. And I just have to look at that as, a blessing compared to where I was a year ago. I couldn't do anything. I was so heavy, I couldn't even breathe. I couldn't talk without being out of breath. I couldn't sit without being out of breath or sweating even. And, so much has changed in my life. My demeanor about myself, being able to do everything. Going from being able to do nothing, well, almost nothing, to what I thought I could do a bunch of things, but I really wasn't doing anything. And so many doors have opened in my life. And so much has changed. And it's all thanks to, having the tools readily available to me. And while some things have changed for the better, some things have changed for the worse, I think in one of my love and hate episodes called Regrettable Mistakes, I talked a little bit about my marriage and, things that have happened to me because of, choices and changes and things like that. And while everything has brought me to this point, which I couldn't be more happy, than I am now, there are some things that are still, bothersome in my everyday life, and, will continue to be bothersome. But you know what? For the most part, everything is great. And I couldn't be happier with the way things are compared to the way things used to be. So, I think that's one of the biggest things, the weight itself is just a number. It's going to fluctuate. It's going to go up and down, and I'm going to have to deal with that. But, I can't look at that as a whole. I have to look at everything as a whole. And so moving forward, constantly moving forward. And I have some plans in my life that, I wanted to do. Unfortunately, I have to put those plans on hold because I have other things that need to be taken care of first. And, I'm getting to be, older. I realize, pretty soon I'm going to be in my 40s. And while some of the plans that I have I need to move, I need to push back a little bit. And it's a little upsetting, a little disheartening, but at the same time, things are good, as far as, my work, my lifestyle, things have changed. And it's been, over time, dramatically, changed as to, my job and things like that. So, it's all been pretty positive. One of the things I talked about last time was my change of job. And I had, a year ago, I was in no position to work whatsoever. My weight was out of control. My life was out of control. And I would just sit back and watch it pass me by. Now, a lot of it is just grasping at every opportunity that I can get. And with that said, I had changed jobs, and I had to fall back to a different job, which was doing the same thing I was doing. My job that I was working at one place doing medical transport, and that was good. And then I had an opportunity to do something else that I loved that I really can't talk about right now, just because, it just fell through. But, I ended up working for another transportation company. And it's a smaller transportation company than the one I was previously working at. And it's funny because my old company works, has an office in the basement of my new company. So it's a little awkward, when I'm on the road and I see these guys I used to work with and they're like, hey, what are you doing over there? You should be over here, like, what's going on? And it's kind of funny, but, I feel good about it that I can see these people, on a daily basis and talk to these people, and there's no hard feelings about it. It is what it is. It's good, and with the new company, the way things run is a little differently, but I'm getting done more work than I did at the other place. There's less, cock and bull going on, and so it's a lot more excuse me, it's a lot more work getting done without breaking my balls as much, and I'm enjoying it. I really am. There are some drawbacks to it, as like where I'm making more money. I'm making more money per hour, but that money kind of does fall into travel expense and everything else like that. However, I'm still making more money than I was at the other place without having to break my balls, and without pulling as many hours. The company I work for is very small, so there's not as much, there's not as many people to deal with when it comes to changing hours or doing things like that. And I'm really appreciative of the way it worked out. Hell, I'm appreciative to even have a job, because last year about this time, I didn't have a job. I didn't have a prayer for a job. Unfortunately, though, I did have to leave something that I really liked, to move forward. And that's just the way it is. Sometimes you have to take risks and, and just do it and see what happens. With that said, I've been working a lot lately, and I've been, working odd hours, and it's very hard for me to find time to balance it out, between making videos and spending time with my girlfriend and trying to just do things in general in my everyday life. It's very difficult to find a balance anymore. I have not quite gotten into a routine yet. And I guess you guys could see that because I haven't made a video in a few weeks. That's been very hard for me because I've been really meaning and wanting to make a video and just post it, but I haven't really had the time to sit down and make a video. So, that's kind of just, it is what it is. It comes with the territory. Will I be making videos in the future? Of course I'll be making videos in the future. I think as far as this weight loss vlog goes, I can look back at my, my one video where it was like, I think it was like 6 months or something in retrospect, and it's actually the main video on my channel here. And so I look at that video and I say, man, like, that is so inspiring to me to see where I was and where I'm going. And I think that's one of the biggest things moving forward, is looking to the future. What can be, what is possible now, what can be possible in the near future, what you can reach out and grab onto and hold on to it. Because life is fleeting. And if you can't take the time to appreciate, the little things, then the big things just aren't worth it, to you. And you will never see it as worth, while. That's pretty much what I've got this week. Other than I've had some, problems with my stomach over the last month where, I had some issues, and now I don't. I'm eating ridiculously. I have what's called the Chinese food effect, where you eat and then 2 hours later you're hungry again. And so I've been eating a lot lately, but I'm maintaining my plateau, which is good, I guess. I'm just going to have to put in a little more work and see what happens. Maybe I'll lose more weight, and we'll see. But I guess that's a ride we're all going to take together in the future. So with that, thank you guys for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thank you guys for joining me today. Let's be our best selves together, and I'll see you guys in the next one.